Each Lent, as we do in Advent, in addition to our regularly scheduled times for the Sacrament of Reconciliation, we also offer a penance service. This year it will be a week from Thursday at the Precious Blood Mother House Chapel. There'll be 5 or 6 additional priests who are great guys, and we join with the Precious Blood Sisters and experience that wonderful sacrament. Now this year, I will not be at the Lenten penance service. Next weekend, I will be on the road speaking. Twice a year, I try to live out in a literal way, I suppose, our mission statement, may you find Christ here and bring Christ to the world by speaking. And I certainly have found Christ here, and then I will try to share that with the broader community. And when my plane lands in St. Louis a week from Thursday, the penance service will be just ending. So I won't be able to be there. But I encourage you to go, or to take advantage of one of the other opportunities we have for this great sacrament. I will go to confession before Easter myself. Now, having said all of that, I'd like to, in light of today's scriptures, I'd like to use this time to name the 5 top reasons not to go to confession this year. Reason number 1, you've done nothing wrong. One thing I love about this interaction between the Samaritan woman and this Jewish man was how frank it was from the get-go. He named out loud her wrong. Now, he didn't shame her, he didn't nag her, but he was concerned about her, and he named out loud what he thought was wrong. My brothers and sisters, we all do wrong. The temptation is to somehow rationalize it as if it was okay, or to blame somebody else as if it was not our fault. But all of that keeps us from the frank and honest naming of the truth that is so essential for human growth. Now, I know that we might agree with that in theory, but the truth is, unless we have that kind of frankness in our relationships, we need either to change or to move on. Because any good relationship involves speaking the truth in love one to another. If I can't admit that I've done things wrong, then I shouldn't go to confession. 2, the other reason not to go is if I am convinced that my wrongdoings are a private thing. The temptation is to dismiss our wrongdoing as something personal. I just didn't quite measure up to my personal goals, but it's really something in here, myself, maybe me and God at most, huh? My brothers and sisters, it's never a private thing. The wrong that we do and the good that we fail to do always affects others. If we think our wrongdoing is a private thing, it doesn't affect others, well then we ought to not go to confession. 3, maybe we think there is no value in naming it out loud. The mistake that we tend to make is to want to hide our sin. Now, these two, this Jewish man and this Samaritan woman, came together in a mutual thirst at this well. But part of the healing that happened was because what was named was brought out into the light. We like to keep it in the darkness, and had her sin been kept in the darkness, she would have kept the pattern. But by being brought out into the light, then she could begin again. And the truth is, when we take that which is wrong in us and we root it in another, outside of ourselves, then the healing can begin. And by bringing that out into the light, she would be open to the new beginning that God wanted to give her. And part of bringing it out into the light is also being able to hear out loud that we are loved and forgiven. You know, the sacrament of reconciliation concretizes the invisible. And I might go to God in my room and say that I'm sorry, but to hear out loud from God that I am forgiven, to hear out loud on behalf of God's people that I am forgiven, helps begin again in me all that is good. If we don't trust the value of bringing our wrongdoing in a safe place to another, then we shouldn't celebrate the sacrament of reconciliation. Or 4, if we don't believe that we can be forgiven. Maybe we think we're too bad to be forgiven. And I am sure that there are some people here right now who have been taught shame. We're taught to be ashamed of that which is less than perfect in ourselves. And so much so that we are convinced that if we ever named it to ourselves or out loud to another, love would go away because we are unworthy of being loved and forgiven. The priest will look down on me. God won't forgive me. But look what happened to this woman. Jesus named out loud what was wrong, and then what? He stayed with her. He didn't go away. She even tried to push him away, and he was going nowhere. That's the love we meet when we say, I'm sorry. We don't have enough power to make God go away. We don't have enough power to make God love us. If you think you are unforgivable, don't come to confession. Or 5, I don't want to change, or I don't think that I can. This woman from Samaria was changed by her encounter. She met this man who told her her sins and loved her. Now, she used to come to the well, it says, in the heat of day. Why? Because she was ashamed, and no one else would be at the well in the heat of the day. But now, instead of trying to avoid people, she rushes back to them to tell them about this man that she had met. She has found her voice. She is changed because of this encounter where her sin was named and yet she was still loved. And that is what's possible for each of us. And if you don't believe that you can be changed, well then, don't go to confession. You know, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, it occurs to me that these 5 reasons for not going to confession are also 5 good reasons not to be in relationship, not to be in quality friendships or even marriage, because those 5 things make me incapable of it. If we are someone who thinks, I've done nothing wrong, or that my wrongdoing does not affect others, or if I can't admit that out loud, or if I believe that my wrongdoing makes me unlovable, or someone else unlovable, or if I think that I can't change and I can't give another person the chance to change, well, those are 5 good reasons to never be in a real relationship, authentic community, or to never, ever get married. Hello, Big Al. Not here. not here, yeah. Big Al, I think you are here. I'm going to take a bag off your head. Not here. Yes, you are, Big Al. So, Big Al, you've done some stuff that was wrong. Not my fault. It wasn't your fault. Big Al, now I want you to think about that. Okay. My fault. It was your fault. All right. And Big Al, I think it's important to say, I'm sorry. Hard. It's hard? Yeah? Man. Oh, I can be angry, but I'll get over it. Big Al, I want you to look at me. Big Al, please, would you look at me? Big Al, what do you see when you look at me? Love, love. You can tell that I love you? I do, Big Al. I can be angry if you do something wrong, but I would still love you. Sorry. You're sorry? Oh, okay. Well, good. Well, buddy, okay. Well, I'm glad you said you're sorry, and I forgive you, and I pray that this will be a new beginning for you, okay? See ya. Bye, buddy. Boys and girls, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm convinced that two of the most important words in the English language, minus one, two of the most important English words are, I'm sorry. And the word to not use is but. Nope. I'm sorry, period. Because that was wrong, or you deserve to be treated better. And if you and I ever go to God and say, I'm sorry, you know what we would see if we looked into God's face? We would only see love and the chance to begin again.